via live interviewing, unscripted, unfiltered.
We're bringing something new to the table.
Because it allows you to express what you actually know. You can't fake this live conversation.
The social media helps pour gasoline on the amount of opportunities that you can get because you're reaching so many more people.
It's becoming something very, very special.
That next short could be the payday that you've been looking through to take the business to the next level.
It's always fun, and it literally doesn't matter what kind of videos you post, so long as you're consistent. And then of course, we represent the target market in the case of being a manufacturer. Hey, what's up, Glaziers? Welcome to the next episode of Glass.GPT. In today's episode, we just want to give you guys the breakdown on why it is that we're doing what we do. And so we'll just start with that. So Keith, why don't you tell the folks, the Glaziers, why it is that we started this podcast?
I believe that we're doing this podcast to not only bring attention to ourselves, because as anybody that is out there that watches us know, the only piece of content that matters is the next one. And by coming on this podcast, it gives us an endless inventory for us, you and I, to have social media in our pipeline. But more importantly, we want to be bringing on more guests to help highlight their goods and services, whether it's a manufacturer, fellow glazier, parts supplier, anybody that's even loosely connected to the industry, and help highlight their story and help promote their business. And of course, give them content.
Exactly. So Keith and I, we are both content creators. We have very different philosophies, but each of us have our own respective followers and following. And together we make each other stronger. We trade ideas all the time. But more importantly, the purpose of it, I think, is that we are a podcast by Glaziers for Glaziers. Very similar to shower door professionals are doing, or what Glazier Nation is doing, or what, Glass Pros are doing. It's all the same kind of thing, except for we're bringing it up close and personal via live. Well, it doesn't stream live, but via live interviewing, unscripted, unfiltered. And we don't lie. If you listen to any episodes, we'll tell you exactly how we feel about everything.
And I think a lot of people that watch your content, my content, that enjoy it, are never usually watching more than a minute or a minute and a half, because that's how long our posts are. Whereas if somebody wants to see what we're doing or what struggles that we have, by having it on the podcast gives them a little bit more to satisfy that appetite to see what Brando and K-Dog are doing out in the market. So every week we're bringing something new to the table. And I think we've had some pretty good reaction and receiving the podcast pretty well. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I've had people reach out to me in the DMs about the podcast, and when I talk to anybody, like literally anybody that any salesperson, any person, any vendor that I'm trying to buy glass from, each and every one of them says, "Oh, by the way, I love your guys' podcast. It's so great what you guys are doing." So this, it actually works. Like we're not like Joe Rogan famous, but we kind of are in the glazing industry, I believe, because we both came up doing this exact job, and then we both came up doing content. And so now we get to take our passion and our skills, combine it with your personality or what you have to offer to the community, and basically share it with the rest of our peers.
And for any of you that are watching this, you want to stay tuned to the end of the show. It's not going to be a real long one, probably about 30 minutes, but this is a hook. There's an offer that's going to be detailed by Brando at the end of this. So stay tuned for that. But I agree with you. And Brandon, I do want to give you a shout out and say that I appreciate you starting this whole Glass.GPT. And I'm grateful that there's someone else in the glass world that obsesses over content creation as much, if not more than me. So I appreciate you. And thank you for continuing to do this and put up with my bullshit.
Well, I really appreciate that. So I entered the YouTube space thinking that I was going to be a creator about creatives and video editing and this and that. And I do enjoy doing that, but I didn't really find my stride until we started doing this. And so now we have this consistent thing on YouTube, and I actually want to double down on YouTube and keep it going even further. But I feel like this is the very best kind of content there possibly is, because it allows you to express what you actually know. You can't fake this live conversation. And then like you say, it's endless content. So I have hundreds of short form clips just lined up. I barely use like 10% of them. And if you watch my stuff on LinkedIn, you probably get tired of seeing them. So I try to give you guys a break every once in a while. But the people that we make the clips for, and then their followers see them, and then they jump on board. That's like, I feel like we got something special here. So it's becoming something very, very special, and we're getting engagement from a lot of Glaziers, and it's not tied to any one platform. So, what is the problem with the way that you think? What is the problem with the way that software companies or hardware manufacturers? What is the problem with the way that they market to us Glaziers?
I think in the modern day, like today, I don't think they do enough of it. I think there's a lot of these big, I call it blue chip companies, these big outfits treat every single piece of content like it's a fucking Super Bowl ad. And then they go ahead and post it and get 50 views, or they boost it and get 15,000, but don't get any sales from it. And I think an advantage to someone coming on this platform is not only will they have the long form ability, hour and a half to pitch their goods and services and chop it up with us, but when we're done, we give them, I don't know, whatever you said, however many shorts that come out of it, and they can post those organically. And if those organically start to go somewhat viral in their sphere, then they can boost them and watch what happens. And I think being on the podcast would be a way for them to get a good collection of content that they could use in their advertising. Whereas you got a bunch of marketing people sitting around, well, what are we going to do for a post and how are we going to do this? It takes all that shit off the table. We're going to sit down and have a real conversation with two individuals that are actively measuring, installing, and buying product on a day-to-day basis. I installed the job today. And so we're not just talking about the business from a hierarchy position. We're actually in the trenches fighting every day for jobs for our team and dealing with all the minutia of the glass industry. So I think that's probably the biggest benefit for them to come in here, is not to have to worry about creating the marketing. Come on and tell your story. Let us handle the content creation for you. And so I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons why people should join us on this podcast.
Absolutely. And obviously, the traditional marketing will never fade away. But why not mix in the personal touch? Like I've done research about this, and I've worked with companies and people helping them with their content. And what we found is that, like especially on LinkedIn, that personal brands or personal page posts perform 1,000 times better than company page posts. And what I'm starting to see from everyone who's started to get it is that their individual sales reps are actually starting to post some pictures of themselves, starting to make some videos of themselves, starting to take iPhone footage of product demonstrations on the show floor. So I think everyone's starting to come around that people like to buy from people. And one thought that I had too is, like, if you have like a big manufacturer that has, a outlet or an outfit in every major city, like, wouldn't it make sense to have like your top sales rep from like every city do a podcast just like this? And then they essentially have, if you spread it out over time, like basically organic content for months or even a year, depending on how you split it between your traditional marketing and your organic marketing. And then, like, another thing about coming on a podcast that Rodney actually brought up to me. My very first podcast was with Rodney, by the way. I just did it right here in my living room over there with my iPhone and my Oswald Pocket 3.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, what he specifically told me was that was so much easier to make videos that way rather than him just staring down the barrel of the lens and trying to remember his lines, right? It was just me asking a question. He just answered them organically, and we came up with a fire episode. I thought I should repost that all the way, a couple years later.
I think a lot of people get either camera shy or gun shy having to do it themselves. But if they know they're going into this, having a conversation and almost doing like a live pitch, we're throwing them these softball questions and they're able to answer it in their business capacity. They're not in a content creation capacity. They're in a business capacity, which they're comfortable with. And I'd also second, people buy from people they like. And if people don't know who the hell you are because there's no video about you talking or anything about your personality, how can they buy from you? Again, you have the traditional way of acquiring new opportunities. I just think the social media helps pour gasoline on the amount of opportunities that you can get because you're reaching so many more people. They get to see all your network. When they come onto this, I share, they get to see all my network. And I'm not only connected here locally, but like you, nationally, whether it's in the Glazier Nation or Shelter Professionals Group, or just in general. I think out of the 35,000 people on Instagram, half of those people are all in the glass world. So not only do they get to post it through their own platform, they get to get their name in front of all of our followers, which I think there's a lot of value to that. Because maybe how many people are out there don't even know about these companies yet? And so just from
Quite.
that standpoint, it could be opening up a lot of opportunities for anybody.
Yep. And it's almost like the way that a referral works. So I
Yes.
refer products to my friends all the time, including you, right?
Yep.
And you'll probably get a cold DM'd on the various platforms from the same people with the same products. But if I've personally used it and I like it for this reason or that reason, I'll tell you, and then boom, it's done. And vice versa. Like I'll totally take your advice too, because we trust each other because each of us has lived the life, right? So
On
like,
that camera I bought, the walkie-talkie views I didn't even look up any of the specs. I asked you what camera and lens and microphone I should get. I literally went on Amazon, bought it, and went plug and play. I didn't do any research, saved me a ton of time. And why not trust somebody that's a professional in that field? I don't know shit about cameras. You obviously do. And it saved me a lot of time. And I think it could save a lot of sales reps times too by coming on this podcast.
yeah, yeah. And the crazy thing is, are you filming on your iPhone right now, Keith?
I'm on my iPhone.
Yeah, like this is literally the only thing that you need. I'm pretty sure that that Connor filmed on his iPhone too, because I noticed his footage wasn't portrait. So I'm pretty sure he just set his phone up like that, plugged
Yes.
it on my phone, and that was it. And that was the episode. And it was a banger fire episode because it
Okay, let me
allowed
ask you this
really,
question,
yeah.
Brandon. Any sales rep or company that wants to come on here and promote their company, and if they're like, well, I don't have all the cameras, I don't have all the shit. All they need is an iPhone. If you got some headphones to put in, even better, but technically you don't even need that. You take your iPhone, turn it horizontally and mount it up somewhere, even just prop it up on a Yeti if you have to. And that's all you need. We'll do the rest of the work. Is that fair to say? Is that all they need?
1000%. But one thing I always recommend, if somebody knows that they're going to be on ahead of time, is to buy a wireless microphone that plugs into your phone, just to increase the sound of the audio. But again, it's not 100% necessary. The episode that we did with Cindy, I'm pretty sure she was just using the webcam on her laptop, and the microphone on her laptop wasn't the greatest, audio quality or video quality, but the messages that she delivered were like very powerful. In fact, Cindy's episode, believe it or not, the short form videos that I posted on my platform on her behalf, those ones got the most watch time out of all of them on LinkedIn specifically. So a lot of people
Okay.
can what Cindy has to say just because of the message. But yeah, if you have a new smartphone, the only thing I recommend is that you get yourself a nice mic, or if you have a set of Apple Airphones like Keith does, they have a microphone right here. Even that's better than nothing. But literally, all you need is an iPhone. And if you want to get crazy and you want to make this like a regular thing, you can just go ahead and DM me, and I'll tell you exactly how to do it and exactly what you need if you want footage, just like you're seeing on mine right now. I'm streaming in 1080p, but my whole setup is like a studio I have here. All you gotta do is flip it on, hit record, and that's honestly the best way because it removes friction.
Can somebody schedule a call with you the week before to kind of just ask whatever fears they might have or questions they might have, is whether it's technology or the questions or anything in particular you want to talk about? Is that open? Are you available for that as well?
Oh yeah, 100%. In fact, that's how we play it most of the time. I've only been a guest on one other person's podcast, and I really like the way they did it. So they had like a list of questions that they were going to ask me in advance, and they asked me those same questions, so I had time to basically prepare. And so what we try to do. So the thing about us is we don't necessarily follow a script because we feel it's more authentic to kind of just let it happen. But what we do have is a general outline. So I think the episode that we had with Ryan, we had like a general outline, a North Star, if you will. and that was like pet peeves in the industry. And so we talk about things and things come up, but we always just try to direct it back towards the purpose of the podcast, whether it be social media or a specific product or a wine cellars or measuring, right? So whatever the topic is, we just try to keep it that way, and we just allow the conversation to flow naturally.
I love it. I love it. All right. What else is cooking?
Well, so you were talking about hooks. I know Connor's big on hooks, and so I came up with a hook. I know it's not necessarily a
Ooh.
hook anymore because we're already midway through, but here it is. Glazers don't want to be sold to. They want to learn from people they trust.
Ooh.
Maybe I should have put some more sauce on it,
I think people buy from who they trust, and I don't think any human being likes to be sold to. People like to buy, but they don't want to be sold. And there's a big distinction there. And if somebody's willing to buy from us, no problem. We have many options for all types of companies and opportunities. But I think that's a good hook, Brando. Um, what else do people stand to gain by being on the podcast?
Okay, so I'll keep it brief, but this is our offer to our friends in the glazing industry. Here it is. Software companies, manufacturers, service providers, glazers trying to get a leg up in their local content game, or just want to get, basically an hour of coaching from each of us, live on camera. That goes a long way too. I think we did that exact same thing with Connor, and it's working really, really well for him. But this is what's included. One full length podcast episode, totaling 60 minutes, give or take, professionally edited for YouTube, which will be posted on our platforms. In addition, you get 8 to 12 short form edited clips, including music, captions, B-roll, professionally edited, of course, and then distribution across our platforms, including LinkedIn, Instagram, Meta, TikTok, and YouTube. And it'll be promoted by each of us in our respective communities. And for pricing, you can simply DM myself or Keith, and that is our offer.
All right, let me ask you this. And by the way, I think it's a hell of an offer because there's a lot of people out there that I think are a little nervous about kind of dipping their toe into social media because they're like, okay, I do a post and another post. I don't really know what else to do. Whereas you come on this podcast, you get the long form version, you get 8 to 12. And by the way, every one that we've been on has been more than 10. I know that. And now imagine yourself, you come on here the next day or the day after, you get this whole bundle that you send them of all these shorts. Now you got posts for the next week and a half. And not only are you posting it, you, the potential customer, but then Brandon's posting them. I'm posting them. We're sharing all three of them. Like now you got some momentum going. I think they say it takes 21 days to create a habit. Well, between all the content that we'll be posting, the potential opportunity we'll be posting, and then all of our sharing, we can get through 21 days easily. And I think that's a good start for somebody that's looking to start putting their digital footprint out there. And so I think it's a hell of an opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like a no brainer because it's like so easy. You just literally come and talk to us, have an outline, and then of course we represent the target market in the case of being a manufacturer, and we
We
can
are
highlight.
the market. Who
Yeah,
else is
we
doing podcasts in the glass industry? Tell me right now, who else is doing a weekly podcast?
I think Max Perlstein has his podcast behind the fabricator or from the fabricator. I've watched it because I know my friend Ted's been on there. But he
I
like
forgot
interviews
about that.
people.
I was
Yeah,
on
like
there
us.
too.
No,
Okay.
yeah, no, he's a good
Okay,
guy. I
so
haven't
other
been on there
than
yet.
Max Perlstein, who else is doing a weekly podcast?
Well, there is nobody doing a dull branded podcast like we are. So
Yeah.
Florida and Colorado come together to broadcast worldwide. And we ourselves are heavily involved in the manufacturing, measuring, sales, and installation of the most complex and innovative glass products to the market. So think about us promoting your stuff, only if you like it, by the way. We're not going to promote everything. Think about us promoting your stuff to our customers, and that'll be 1,000 times more powerful than a cold DM on a social platform or just walking into a glazing shop, blind, right, on a cold call.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think even if there's somebody out there that's already posting social media, if I had the ability, me personally, to post 30 times a day, if I had enough content to do that, I would. I don't believe that anybody is posting too much. Matter of fact, I'd argue most of the people that are watching us are probably not posting enough. And so just by coming on here alone, it'll help you double up, if not triple up, the amount of content that you're already posting. Because the algorithms, for all of those that are watching this, the algorithms are designed for the consumer. So if you're just starting to post like we did 6, 7 years ago, you might say, oh God, I just post once already. I don't want to post another one. People are going to think I'm greedy. No, 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 no. If there's people out there that enjoy watching your content, they can't consume more of it if there's nothing to watch. So you have to be constantly, the only piece of content that matters is the next one. And so having a backlog, or as you say, a pipeline full of content ready to go out, I think is massively powerful in this day and age. And it helps give you more credibility. I mean, I
Yeah,
know locally, there's not a job site that I go on now that if the people are on social media, they don't know who I am. And it's changed how we do business. I feel like in the 23 years I've been in business down here, the last 5, I'm finally getting the respect or at least acknowledgement that I've always wanted. Because before it's, oh, you're just a shower door guy. Now it's like, you're the social media guy, which seems to carry a lot more gravitas. And they take me more seriously in many
100%.
different ways. Yeah.
Yeah, I've experienced something very similar. So I have people I run into, and they're like, "Oh my God, I watch your stuff," and it's always a different platform. It's either LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram. Like, "Oh, I love your stuff. Like, you make those talking head videos where you describe the cool products that you install," or "No, I love that stuff where you talk about personal branding with Keith," or it's always something different. So like what we're doing now is essentially batch recording, right? So obviously we got the long form video that's going to go on YouTube, but that one video can potentially be like 30 different shorts. I'm not even joking. I have like literally hundreds of them in the backlog that I can deploy when needed. I actually myself, all of my content is scheduled out for an entire month. So I don't got to, well, besides this podcast, I don't got to worry about a damn thing for an entire month. I could basically take a month off and I just have it going out on autopilot. And we talk about this kind of thing about batch recording, batch scheduling, and there's like a way that it could be done. And there is really no right way to do it. We learned that from Andrew, where we talked to him about his process, and he's like, I don't got a fucking process. I just make what I think is cool and it's valuable, and I just try to post it. But again, the problem is that there's only so many hours in the day. So imagine if you had like 30 shorts lined up, you can schedule one, maybe 2 per week for the next 6 months, and it's basically on autopilot for that long. And I've done that with certain clients.
Knowing that you get to come on and talk about your business or your goods and services for an hour and 15 minutes, and then a couple days later have that hour and 15 minutes, which by the way, you can go, if you're creative and you want to start chopping it up and creating your own shorts, you absolutely can do that. But then aside from that, having 8 to 12 shorts already done, I mean, think about the value that it takes if you're just getting into the content creation to promote your business, to have all that already in your pocket. To me, the next post that anybody does out here in this TikTokification of social media, the next post you do could be 1 million views. The next post you do could change your business overnight. It's just like fishing. If the line's not in the water, you're not catching anything. And so by having all these shorts in your possession, that next short could be the payday that you've been looking through to take the business to the next level. And I think about that every day.
Oh yeah, we can talk about this for hours. In fact, we have literally several episodes on social
Exactly.
media and all the different things that it entails, because it's always evolving, it's always changing, it's always fun, and it literally doesn't matter what kind of videos you post, so long as you're consistent. And the best way to do that, obviously, is to come on the podcast with us and let us handle that for you. So with that said, I'm going to land the plane, and I don't want to name names, but I ordered a bunch of base shoe for 3 different jobs recently. And of course, I'm going to make the cinematic content, but I'm just going to end it with this. You will see some videos coming out soon featuring a certain type of bass shoe and grab bar and standoffs and
Don't
all the
name
videos of
names.
all the
Don't
railings.
name
I'm not
names.
naming names. Just stay tuned and just trust me that it's going to be epic. And anyone who likes railings is going to love it.
Awesome. All right, Brando. Till next week.
Till next week. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Peace.